All right, ladies and gents, here we are on a road in central Oahu. We're headed up to a little place called Snake Road. It's really an extension of the H2. It runs from the H1, which is your east-west highway that runs through Honolulu in the southern part, and we're headed up to the North Shore. Doesn't have a big highway up on the North Shore, but this is the artery. Basically the H2 turns into this. You go through some grassy fields. I could have taken a right up a little earlier and taken you by Dole Plantation, pretty famous, all the pineapples. Instead, I'm going straight to see how this handles on a little bit of road called Snake Road. So in preparation, I'm gonna go ahead and get this suspension into Sport Plus. Oh yeah, I can feel those dampers tighten up nice right away. And yeah, we're gonna give it a shot. So before we hit all the twisties, I'm just gonna talk about a few things. And for me, the number one thing I really wanted to literally get my hands on with this car was to see how BMW has evolved with their steering. So I mentioned earlier I had a E92 335i. It was a 2008, and it still had hydraulic steering. BMW, very famous for their hydraulic steering in the day. And then 2013 was the last year, at least, of the 3 Series having that hydraulic steering. Well, I can tell you right off the bat that this is so much more improved than a 2014 3 Series I had once driven. I can really feel the road surface through the wheel, and as I blast through these corners, we'll go ahead and we'll get an idea of what everything else feels like. So let's give it a go. Yeah, there's some nice weight to the steering for sure. I don't know on the spec sheet if this is variable steering, but I suspect it is. When I was in parking lots earlier, the steering was very light. It was very comfortable, and I was like, oh man, is this going to be light steering for the whole experience? And it's not. That was very heavy going through, which is much more BMW than like I said, that 2014. So here we are a decade later with this electronic power assist, the e-Pass system. And I dare say it's pretty damn good. I mean, I'm feeling the imperfections of the surface right in my fingertips. It's coming through my hands. I'm very, very happy about that. I'm also happy that BMW has retained its chunky steering wheel. A lot of people like the thinner ones. My BRZ has a thinner one with a small diameter. This diameter actually feels relatively small, but it's got the nice big Euro thumb grips that BMW has had forever. So I'm glad they have maintained that and they've kept it in. It's going to keep the BMW purists pretty happy. So let's talk about the suspension. So I consider myself anal retentive over ride quality. And here we are in Sport Plus, and this thing isn't beating me up at all. I mean, it really ducked in those corners exceptionally well. I can definitely feel that this car is much heavier, about 1,000 pounds more heavy than my BRZ. Well, that's okay. It's also got double the horsepower and triple the torque, right? So it's very, very composed. I did run with chassis on Sport Plus earlier on some really choppy highway, and there it was like a little noticeable that you're you know, in a sport car, but with a flip of a button, boom, you're in comfort. And this is, it's like alarming in a good way. So it's just an excellent daily driver type performance vehicle. I'm very, very impressed with how it's operated. So I just put the vehicle into 4th gear. We'll talk about the shifter. So Most people reference the Miata, Porsche, things like that for great shifters. I've always appreciated the BMW shifters, and this one here has what I call the M Sport or the ZHP type shift knob. Back in the old days there was a ZHP Style 3 series, and very, very similar, if not identical, shift knob to what we have right here. And I love the ergonomics of it. I love how you can palm the top, and then you've got more like a pistol grip to go back. I can fit all fingers very easily, so even for a guy with disgustingly large hands like myself, I mean, I can get right on this shifter. It seems like first to second it takes just a little longer than I like, and that's a normal BMW thing. I always figured it was protecting the transmission, but overall very, very smooth, very luxurious. It's not like racking back a pistol like when you're in the BRZ or a Miata, but very enjoyable. And I think that the shifter matches the persona of the car. This is extremely luxurious compared to even the first and second gen BMW M3s. And to have a shifter that goes off like a shotgun doesn't really make sense in this. This is very smooth, very silky. It's not gooey or anything like that. Maybe that's an M specific thing. I know some of the older non-M cars had a problem with their shifters, but this one is, I would have no problem driving that every day. I mean, that is an enjoyable thing. All right, so now we're getting up to the end of Snake Road, and I am going to go ahead and spin this around a roundabout, and we're going to take it back up. Let's do this. All right, back into Sport Plus, just like that. Boom. Downshift into second, no rev matching. I turned it off. Let's do a little roundabout here, see what this feels like. And this car is accurate. It is millimeter precise. You turn this wheel a millimeter, you feel the car start moving. Can't ask for anything more. I think that is a combination of what I'm saying firmly now is a return to brilliant BMW steering. Is it as good as the old hydraulic stuff? I think it's fair to say it's not. I don't think anybody will ever match it, but this is pretty damn good, and I'm smiling because I have avoided BMWs for years, awaiting the return of some good steering. So my wife probably won't be happy when I tell her that I'd entertain an $80,000 sport car. I might have to sell my firstborn or something. All right, let's go. Oh yeah, this thing boogies. That stiff suspension isn't too bad even on this brutal road. And you compare it with my BRZ, and my BRZ be going all over the damn place, so I'm okay with this. It's nice. Let's see what Sport does. Boom. Let's go in the middle. Okay. It feels like it's in the middle. Well done. An actual noticeable difference between Comfort, Sport, and Sport Plus. That's a rare thing in any car these days, so BMW, well done. I'm so happy it's easy to turn off Rev-Match. It's hard to turn off 20 years of driving stick in a day just because a car doesn't have a way to turn off the rev matching a la first generation M2, unless you went ESC and everything else off, which I think is fine. Jesus, boy, that's Ugh. Yeah, you can feel when these turbos hit. Oh man, hits you like a freight train at like 5,000 RPMs. Oh boy. Oh man, that's some old school turbo hit right there. That's I'm kind of surprised that my old 335i, it had these tiny little turbochargers on it, and I mean, I never even felt much of a surge. It was just kind of slammed you at like 2,000 RPMs. Boy, maybe because I'm starting in a lower RPM and a higher gear on this. Man, this steering is accurate. I'd say there's not like a ton of pushback, but boy, it's there. But anyway, back to the turbo. This thing swirls up and just punches you in the face. What an entertaining thing to drive. All right, let's do that again. Okay, so we're in second gear going uphill. We're at 2,000 RPM, so let's give it a go. Ooh, okay. That was more like 3,000, 3,500. So you could argue a little bit of a bog to start because I was in a higher gear, 2,000 RPM. Obviously, it wouldn't be the same if I was flooring it in first and shifting. But that comes on pretty quick, even in that situation. So, wonder what it's like in first gear. That'd be definitely worth something. Give it a little try. Start it just up a little higher. Yeah, just takes a little bit. Get those turbos spooled up. Pretty dang nice. Man, and what a sound. So I'll have to look up when I get back to the house whether there is sound enhancement through the speakers, but for sure that little button there, the little one right here that has the exhaust sound on it, or the exhaust pipes, I thought that was just like an active sound to turn off fake speaker noise, but I stood out back. It's an active exhaust, so it's opening and closing a valve in the exhaust. I'm happily surprised. I think the weight, I think, was getting me a little apprehensive. Like, can it still just be that sport car feel? Is it as nimble as a Miata or BRZ? Absolutely not, but it is definitely close enough considering that we are in a German sports sedan, something that's not trying to emulate a little sport car. This is being its own thing. BMW is like essentially the founder of the sports sedan. So while this 3 Series, I would say, is much more comparable to those 1990s M5s that I grew up seeing in high school and loving. Oh, let's send it here. Yeah, it is there. This has its place, and it is glorious. If you've got the money, I'd say go get it. Wow. controlled. Yeah, so conclusion time. I love this car. This car is amazing. I would absolutely drive it every day. I wish it was about $20,000 less, so it was more attainable without stressing the finances. You know, it seems like a lot of cars are in that $50,000–$60,000 range. This one you can surf over $80,000. I mean, that's a serious amount of money. So one day maybe on the used market, I could see doing something like this. I think I would choose the rear-wheel drive version just like this, as opposed to the all-wheel drive version, which is now an option. I would 100% get the manual BMW. Good job. This is a great manual transmission, I think. The engine, never have to mess with anything. BMW, you've got that. That inline six has got to be one of the top 5 engines ever developed, regardless of what series, whether it's an N or a B, etc., etc. Inline six made by BMW, it wins. You package that up with the very, very, very wonderful suspension and chassis tuning by the Bavarians, and Comfort Sport, Sport Plus, they're all palatable. And the fact that you can just go like this and, you know, go on the highway. You got a quiet interior. I have no resonating. The tires are quiet even on these big 19s and 20s. This is a grown-up, kick-ass sports sedan. And if you want to throw a couple kids in the back, take them to soccer practice, and then drive yourself to the track or to a mountain pass that weekend, this is 100% the car you can do it. I'd say, if we're talking negatives, it's just, it is pricey, it's alarmingly expensive, and then just driving around town, especially compared to my little BRZ, everybody and their mom wants to race me in this thing. Everybody wants to race me. It's like, oh boy, there's a BMW M car, let's go get it. And even the black on black, you know, Darth Vader approach, you're not flying under the radar in this thing. They know you're coming, and oh boy, if you got the exhaust valves open, they even more know you're going. So anyway, there it is. I love the car. The screens don't annoy me. I think they're fine, they're great. The engine is awesome, the steering is awesome, the manual is awesome, the power is incredible. Overall, just a remarkable car. And one day, maybe in the future, you'll see a video with me actually owning one of these. It might be like a decade though. So anyway, thanks again for watching, guys. Please hit subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I'd appreciate it. And hey, if you've got a car and you want to have it put on YouTube and have a guy drive around and give it a review, and you're on Oahu, shoot me a note, and I'd be happy to spend a Sunday driving it around and edit a little video for you. So anyway, guys, thanks a lot, take care, and appreciate you viewing. We'll see you.